listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's The Following After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's The Following After Show.
Yes, and Bing is for doing, and we are doing a special segment here, The Following AfterBuzz show with Nando. How you doing?
How you doing?
And myself, Joe Braswell. And on the line, I am so excited to have the lovely Valorie Curry. Hello, Valorie.
Hi.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I know our other two co-hosts are going to be really, really jealous, especially Joe Sanfilippo, but that's the way it works out. So you.
Well, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to be here. So you play the mysterious, manipulative, and very sexy. I said it, very sexy. Emma Hill, and we're lovely. We're glad to have you on the program.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So excited. So excited. So hey, so Valorie, so what's it been like so far this past month for you? I mean, you know, I think the show's been great, and we have lots of fans that have been talking about it. But what's been your experience this month?
It's been surprising, and you know, people are terrified of me, which is kind of a new experience for me.
Really? Wow.
Went into my local coffee shop a couple of weeks ago. I think 3 episodes had aired, and a woman actually started screaming and grabbing her husband. And then after she got over her shock, she talked about the show and loving the show. But it's that's a new one for me.
Wait a minute. She started screaming like it's her, afraid.
Like, oh my God, grabbing her husband. Like, I have a hard time with the fact that people seem to think I'm going to stab them.
Yes. Well,
I'm not. So now all of your listeners know I'm not going to stab you.
And shooting in New York, I'm sure you have a lot of interactions going around there too, right?
Yeah, although, you know, it's New York, so people kind of keep to themselves. They're doing their own thing.
Okay.
I was in LA a couple weeks ago, which is really kind of home for me, and people seem to, you know, be more aware or interact a little more or want to talk about the show more there.
Okay, cool.
Right. So, you know, people may know you from way back from Veronica Mars and a bit from the Twilight. From Twilight, but this is, you know, a giant, big network show, and talk to me a little bit about how this came about and this audition process. I mean, I think I read somewhere that you were sort of given, all of you were given these sort of blind sides and didn't know exactly what part you were reading for which follower. And am I making that up, or did that happen?
Yeah, sort of along those lines. I had been in for the casting directors and essentially Kevin Williamson before for a few characters for the Vampire Diaries that, you know, hadn't ended up working out. And I got the script during pilot season, and I knew what character I was looking for, and I was looking for Denise. And I was very, you know, I was sort of confused because I'm reading the script, and you know, she had like a line, and I keep sort of flipping pages looking for her, and then it got to the end with the big twist, and I loved it.
Right.
And when I went in, I was given dummy scenes essentially with the guys, with Jacob and Paul, dealing with Joey, and they were pretty open scenes. They sort of established the way that she asserts power over the guys, but I had a lot of freedom to create a character within that, and it was just so much fun. Yeah, I immediately fell in love with this character, and yeah, and it was great, and it was. Yeah, it worked out.
No, it's a great character. It's funny you mention that because it's a great character in that, and it seemed difficult because you have to initially be this really sweet, you know, loving, nanny / babysitter, and then we see that you're actually this very ruthless killer, and then within that circle of the followers, you are this sort of manipulative power broker, you know, and so that's a lot. That's a long range.
Whatever she needs to be in any situation, and that's the thing about her that's funny. It's like there's not the true face of Emma and the facade. It's all true. You know, she is whatever she needs to be.
Right.
Now, well, I have to ask. I mean, when you first knew you were going to be doing a show with Kevin Bacon, did you already know your Bacon number, or were you really psyched for that, or
oh boy, not the Bacon number.
I gotta ask. Yeah, everyone knows.
I don't think I knew what my number was before the show.
Well, now it's
before
one.
This, but Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy were the two actors that were cast before me. I think it was actually the third actor cast.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and I was just, I mean, psyched beyond belief. It's just a dream come true. I mean, Kevin is a legend and just so fantastic, and I was a huge fan of this from it was a dream come true.
Oh wow, yeah. Now, as far as your character, I mean, you get to do some pretty, well, I would say scary things. Is this something something as Valerie that you are comfortable with yourself? Or I guess, does Emma scare you as well? I guess is my question.
No, Emma doesn't scare me. I mean, when I have to sort of film those violent scenes, it doesn't bother me as an actor because, you know, the blood smells like Hershey syrup and I'm holding a retractable knife and it's kind of silly and we're all laughing. But Emma doesn't scare me as a character because, you know, my heart breaks for her because, you know, I know why she does everything, and
it's that stupid
it's
mom.
always about love, and it's not always easy, as we saw in the last episode.
Yeah.
The things that Joe asks her to do. So, no, Emma doesn't scare me. Sometimes I get very sort of sad or offended when people talk about what a monster she is because, you know, I really don't see her that way at all.
You got to defend her.
But she does commit some monstrosities. I can't lie.
Sure.
I can't make excuses for her.
And she had such a mean mom. What about that Chardonnay swirling mom of yours?
Yeah, nobody was sad when she died, right?
We all called it. We all
Nobody was
called
that
it.
upset.
Oh my
She was
God.
obnoxious.
She was on the wrong show. She should have been in like Real Housewives show or something.
Exactly.
So we're all curious about the mood of the set because, you know, we don't know Kevin and we know anything about Kevin, but we do know that we watch this show and it scares the crap out of us. So we jump, we do. So is it the mood? Is it sort of a darker, you know, calm, you know, a very intense mood on the set, or is it light and playful, or is it somewhere in between? Is it vary from scene to scene? What's it like?
Well, I guess it varies. You know, we have a lot in every episode that we have to get done. As you can see, you know, we have 15 episodes and it's action packed. So we're constantly moving. The momentum is definitely there on set. So we don't get to play around as much as people do on some shows, but at the same time, you know, we're all friends and we have a great time. Me and the guys had a great time together when we were at the farmhouse.
Oh, I'm sure, especially that shower scene. I'm sure, yeah, great time.
Oh no, that was actually no fun at all. I was freezing cold, covered in mud.
Right, the mud.
That was not so much fun.
Well, let's touch on that for a second because, you know, this is 9 o'clock. This is Fox, and Fox is edgy and none of me edgy, and a sister or a parent of FX, which is edgy, but this is still prime time 9 o'clock. And, you know, people talk a lot about the following pushing the envelope on the violence part, but you guys have really pushed the envelope on the sex and sexuality part as well, in some really cool, groundbreaking ways with this very interesting sort of
triangle.
The love triangle, and we saw some, you know, we saw the three of you in bed together, we had three of you in a shower together, you know, some stuff. What's that been like? I mean, did you have any reservations when you read that stuff? When you read that you'd be in this sort of gay, straight, bi, serial killing threesome, did you pause at all? What was it like that for you when you found out?
I mean, I didn't have any reservation about any of the content because it's so humanizing, and it's really kind of the most human aspect of these characters that you see at that point. It's so vulnerable, it's so genuine, and I love that there's never been anything like it on network television.
I agree.
Some of our funnier moments are definitely trying to navigate how to shoot those scenes for network television. We've had the conversations about how apparently, you know, you can't grind on network TV.
Right.
You can't imply a threesome before 10 o'clock. It's very delicate. It's a delicate area.
Sure.
But not at all, no reservations about that.
So, you know, as far as that threesome's concerned, I guess we've seen a lot, especially last week's episode, which was so good, and just seen how the relationships shifted. I mean, before when we were starting, it was really just you and Jacob, and there was a little bit of a control thing between you and Paul, and now you're all together. And so explain a little bit about that. Like, what's going on with those three characters right now in this triangle?
Well, now the trio has sort of broken.
Yeah, busted up
since Emma left them. So in the end of the fall, in episode 6, Emma gets a call from Roderick, and she ends up leaving with Joey without telling the guys. Yeah. And as far as she's concerned, she's leaving them to almost certain death. Right. And Paul, played by Aiden, gets stabbed really brutally by Ryan Hardy. Yeah. They end up escaping, however. So the guys are off on their own, and she's on her own trying to regroup with the rest of Joe's followers, with Joey. And she's in a really emotionally vulnerable place because she finally opened up to these guys, and then for the first time, her loyalty was really tested for Joe, and she had to choose between him and Jacob, and, she went with Joe. Right. So it's a tough road ahead for her. Well, that answers my question, because I was really, we were wondering how far ahead on this. We talk about this chessboard, the Joe Hardy chessboard, and how much Emma knew. It seems like, she knew. Obviously, there's a certain plan to a certain point, but she didn't know that she was going to leave Paul or Jacob at all. When she got that call from Roderick, it was actually that she had to make that choice then and there, or did she know all along that this is how it was going to go down? Everyone knows all along that they may be asked to sacrifice either someone they love, each other, or themselves for Joe. That's just sort of part of the deal. Maggie wasn't happy about that. She didn't know until that moment, until that phone call, that was the plan. Okay. Yeah. And she really didn't have any other choice. Right. Interesting. Fascinating. It's such a fascinating And it was character. Totally heartbreaking for her, which, hopefully came across. Well, you could see that on both sides. You could see it was heartbreaking for her, and you could see Jacob just totally lost. Right. Yeah. Now, I know you can't really talk too much about, what's coming up, and I will. We're gonna ask you some questions and see if you give us any information a little later. However, but I do want to know. I'm curious about these shows, these sort of serialized shows that are top secret from week to week to week. We know that there's a lot of spoilers, and people worry about things being spoiled. How often? How far ahead do you get the scripts? So how often do you know? I mean, obviously you're ahead now. I'm assuming you've shot. I don't know what episode you're in now, but how? When do you know? Because on other shows like Homeland, they find things out like almost immediately. Like it's almost days before they're shooting and weeks before they're shooting. Do you know where your character's going way ahead of time? Or are you surprised as we are? I have no idea until I get the script, which sometimes is not until the night before we start shooting the episode. Right. And yeah, it's always last minute, that people find out even, whether they're going to live or whether they're going to die, and, getting every script with bated breath and flipping through the pages and hoping that I don't die that week. Thank goodness I didn't die. But no, it's a roller coaster ride for me that way as well, and so I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants too. And you have a few more weeks of production, right? You're still what episode are you guys shooting up to now? We're shooting 14 right now, and then 15 is the finale. Oh wow! Wow. So yeah, so it's crazy. Have you gotten the finale script yet? Nope, no idea. All right. Okay. But I'm sure it's cross your fingers for me, okay? Okay. Well, so some general questions here. I mean, this is where we get to the part of the program where we try to get you to tell us what's going to happen. Okay, so we're going to fish. And we like to warn you beforehand. It's a fishing expedition. We want to warn you beforehand and just get y'all prepped up for it. But first is in a general question that we've seen the first half. We're rolling out these followers sort of slowly. We start with you and
then the guys, and we see Jordy. But now they they started with these sort of college age looking, very, very sweet, normal kids, and now we've transitioned into this sort of paramilitary group, like this is the military style followers. I mean, are we going to see a shift in the way Joe Carroll is executing his plan? Because at first it was this sort of like puzzle, like marionette puppet master thing, and now we're moving into what feels like a military operation. Am I reading in too much to that?
No, you're 100% correct. You are about to see the whole universe of the cult expand, or it's not expanding, but sort of your view of it, and even Emma's view of it. She's been very sort of sheltered, had a very specific job to do for the last few years. She's not even aware of how big everything is.
Right.
And you've already started to see these sort of paramilitary, as you put it very accurately, type people. There's more of those. There are all kinds. It's not all the sweet-faced college kids or the weak-minded security guards.
Right.
It's a big world, and it's all kinds, and everybody is vying for position and status within it, and Emma's going to have to find her place within that.
Yeah. Now it seemed a couple episodes ago. I think we were pretty much calling you the lieutenant. You seem to be the one in control. With the plan, and seeing last week, obviously seeing these new characters, you have to report to Roderick, and you're seeing people that you've never seen before, and just seeing your loyalty to Joe and your willingness to separate from your two closest allies. How much more? We're going to expect Emma to be tested that much more with Joe. Is there going to be what kind of conflict is she going to be going through?
It's really only the beginning in terms of Emma's devotion being tested, and you really only sort of glimpsed the tip of the iceberg in terms of her vulnerability. In upcoming episodes, even more of her depth and the dimension to her character is going to be exposed through her interaction with the other characters, the other cult members, through that testing of her devotion. It's like I said, it's a long, hard road ahead for her, and this is just the beginning.
Great.
And she doesn't have her allies anymore. She's kind of on her own.
And last thing I have is we saw a little bit of Agent Parker, appear to get a little bit under Emma's skin and really strike a nerve or two in those two conversations, especially that last conversation from last week where Emma calls Agent Parker back to sort of like, I'll handle this, and then it seems Parker turned the table, and then Parker turned the tables on her. I mean, we were wondering in the room, is she really getting under Emma's skin, or is this, or was it, is she really getting to him? And will we see more of that interaction?
She does. It's almost as if Parker doesn't have to get under Emma's skin. Emma calls her and uses the truth about her mother. She's telling the truth to try and distract her and delay her, but in talking to Parker, she starts to just sort of unravel.
Right.
I mean, Parker doesn't have to try that hard in that conversation, which I think speaks to the level of stress that Emma is under, and the fact that this sort of strong stone wall of a woman that we've seen for the last few episodes is covering for somebody who's really just holding all the pieces together all the time.
Right.
And holding on really tightly, and that there are a lot of fractures there. And yeah, you're going to see more, like I said, of that vulnerability, of all of those cracks and breaks in that facade, and what's behind that strength.
Right, great. Well, we're looking forward to that. Oh, and one last quick question: who is the follower in the FBI? Is it Mike? Is it Weston, or is it Weston or Parker? Which one's the follower?
Oh, it's Kevin Bacon, of course.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Kevin Bacon's the follower.
It's one
I'm
of them.
kidding.
If there was somebody in the cast that you would want to be a follower for, who would it be?
Uh-oh.
Oh, God, somebody in the cast. It wouldn't be somebody in the cast. I think I'm already Kevin Williamson's follower.
Right.
Oh, really? Cool.
That's a good answer.
Good answer.
That's a done deal.
That keeps you
Good
alive a little
answer.
while longer when you say those kinds of answers, by the way, I think.
Well, listen, I thank you, so much for joining us here and spending this time with us. Like I said, I'm very pleased to have you here, Nando and I, and Joe and Teresa are also very jealous. But Joe and I spent a lot of time talking about our love for Natalie Z. But we want to point out that our first love,
My first love.
Well, my first love too.
Oh, okay. So there will be a fight. There will be a little bit of a fight.
Was you, Valerie? So thank you. It means a lot to us.
I stay notably quiet in the podcast
Yes.
when they talk about Natalie Z. I stay notably quiet because
I will never
you guys
talk
fight.
about Natalie Z again. It's all
She's tough
Valerie.
to compete with.
So thank you so much. Is there anything else coming up? Anything else you want to talk about or plug or anything?
No, I mean, in terms of the show, I think you can see it's just ramping up more and more from one episode to the next. Never get too attached to anybody. Never think you know what to expect.
Great.
Gwen, can we find you on Twitter? You're a Twitter person? Do you tweet?
I am on the Twitter. I am at Valorie_Curry.
Valorie_Curry. So
the underscore is important.
Underscore is
important.
Okay, well, we will tweet that out, and we'll definitely link to all of our Twitter accounts, and have all of our followers linked to you as well. All of our followers. I said that. That happened.
Yes,
Great.
all of our. I know. We keep catching ourselves when we use that word in real English.
It's a lot of,
a lot of followers. That thing.
Yeah.
And thanks so much for. I mean, you told us before you actually listened to a couple of our episodes, so thanks a lot. Feel free to tell us.
Absolutely. Yeah, people were talking about it on set. A couple of crew members were listening to it.
Cool.
So yeah, you guys have great insight.
Just feel free to let us know whenever we're right on something.
Yes.
Just a private text or something.
And I'll let you know when you're wrong too, for sure.
and then obviously when you're in Los Angeles, we'd love to have you in the studio.
Yes, when
so
you don't
Joe
production.
can drool over you. I promise I'll.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
She was great.
She's awesome.
No, isn't she great? Yeah, she was awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So thank you. So that was Valorie Curry.
You said you'd never mention her
I
again.
never would mention her again.
Yes. She's still on. Awesome.
Oh, you're still here?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great.
and-
I thought you were-
I'm
oh,
here.
great.
Yeah.
I thought you were-
Let's plug iTunes real
Yeah,
quick.
so you can check us out. Please, thank you so much for making us the #2 most downloaded show on number 3 now. Number 3 most downloaded show
we
on
vary, man.
AfterBuzz.
We vary, but we're up there.
We're
We're
the
up
top
there.
between 1 and 3. We're top of 60 shows, but we have a one. If you're a listener or a lover of television, AfterBuzz has over 60 shows you can check out, and you can download them all on iTunes and our website. But please, listen to us on iTunes, download, comment. We love 5s. You can give us a 5. Tell us what you think.
Tell us what you think.
You've been very, very vocal and very wonderful, and we appreciate all the love and the 5s and all the comments you've given us. And please continue.
And also follow us on Following Buzz, at Following Buzz.
At Following Buzz.
Yes.
And then again, you know me, I'm at Joe K. Braswell.
And I'm at Nando Vel, Nandovel.
Yes, and we will see you very, very soon. Thanks for listening.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.